A recent survey of the OECD, which is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which is effectively, by the way, all the rich nations across the globe, it found that 60% of the respondents believed that global warming will likely or very likely lead to the end of humans. That's shocking, astounding, and telling all at the same time. So take the blowhard leader of the most global and elitist organization of them all, talking about the Secretary General of the United Nations. Now check out the quote, which are pretty much the same type of statements that you hear other elites spout off all the time. Quote, "The world is facing a grave climate emergency. Every week brings new climate-related devastation. Floods, drought, heat waves, wildfires, superstorms. We're in the middle of a battle for our lives. Climate change is the biggest threat to the global economy." So you take a look at those statements. That's not the leader of a religious cult. That's the head of the UN. Or wait, is there even a difference these days? But what are the facts? What is the true science? How about the accurate data? What do they say? Well, when you scrape away the rhetoric and the fire and brimstone and you soberly assess data, you come away with a very different take. And allow me to provide you some of the data and the facts. Let's start with hurricanes. Let's talk a little bit about hurricanes, those superstorms that we've been told are occurring more and more often and that are stronger than ever. Well, since 1900, I'm sorry to tell you, the annual number of U.S. hurricanes is declining. It's not increasing. The same is true, by the way, for Category 3 or worse storms. So severity is not getting worse either. And when you look at data globally, not just for the U.S., but globally, satellite data from 1980 to now shows measured hurricane energy is dropping, not rising. Heck, 2022 was the second lowest recorded year on record for global hurricane energy. Code red? Not when it comes to hurricanes, constant listeners, not even close. Let's maybe talk a minute about wildfires. Now, wildfires, certainly topical this summer, with the Quebec and Western Canadian wildfires blowing smoke down to the U.S. and our East Coast and causing an epic freak out by major media. The world is burning up, right? Wrong. Satellite data comes to the fore again because satellite data show there's been a decline, and a dramatic decline, over the past 25 years for the amount of burned area due to fire on a global scale. Not what you hear in the news or from the elite, is it? How about humans being killed and wiped out by climate change? Hardly the case. The data prove it. In the 1920s, 500,000 people died every year on average due to climate across the globe. That's a lot of people. By the 2010s, the average number of people dying from climate, from issues like floods and drought, storms, fires, and extreme temperatures, 18,000. So that average per year in the 1920s was 500,000 down to 18,000 in the 2010s. My goodness, not the storyline out there, is it? And by the way, in 2022, the number of global deaths due to climate was 11,000. Humans adapted to climate, no matter how climate changed, whether it got warmer, colder, whatever the case might be. And how do we adapt? With innovation and technology. Climate won't get you any more than the boogeyman will, or the devil, to put it in religious parlance. But you know what will get you? The waste that is tied to this forced energy transition based on the myth of code red instead of data and facts that we just discussed.